Hi guys, what would be modern casteism? Now, the examples I'm about to give, I'm fully aware that they happen on their own accord, that these are individual decisions from their own choice and not a thrust down law from the government. But notice how the current society, people who hate casteism, are on the same lines as how a casteist society would have worked in medieval India. So most celebrities, most actors and actresses marry other actors and actresses. Most academics marry other academics. Most musicians marry other musicians. Most laborers marry other laborers. And even if that's not the profession's tangent we are talking about, even if we are talking about from the economic angle, economic class angle, then it's even more evident. A celebrity cricketer will marry a celebrity actress. That's all. So if that's not thrust down from the government, we don't see the problem anyway. But notice that the people who had randomly conjured this idea of hard and rigid caste problem, they were not entirely detached from the society. They were observing that things that were going on in the society anyway, and were codifying them into law to be followed so that society would function better. And I think that was a mistake because you don't leave room for individual choices anymore. But remember that it happens anyway. I'm not defending casteism, for God's sake. So, this casteism has another face in modern India and especially in modern Bengal, where we have an obsession with PhDs. So in that obsession with PhDs, what happens is, let's say those academics and PhDs are treated like and worshipped like the Brahmins of yesteryears, where apparently they can do no wrong. If someone has a doctor on the left side of their name, whatever they say is absolute damn truth. Even if they are wrong 90% of the time, even if whatever they say is absolute rubbish, even if Abhijit Banerjee says that print more money to fight inflation, and even if all the academics who had supported Trinamool Congress in 2011 ended up creating a gigantic wasteland called Shingur, and the Tata factory moved to Sanand in Gujarat, where it's now a gigantic manufacturing hub, and that's how they screwed the people of Bengal, those academics. Now, in that obsession with academics, Partha Chatterjee has now apparently been caught doing something that Mamata Banerjee did years back, and somehow people have conveniently forgotten that, but I won't let people forget that. I want you to know that this happened. In 1985, and that controversy went on for a lot of years, CPM used to bring it up sometimes when they found it convenient. Mamata Banerjee suddenly declared one fine morning that she has a doctorate, probably in law, I think she said it. And she said she received her PhD from a place called East Georgia University. There was just one problem, that university does not exist in reality. Now, Partha Chatterjee has also been accused of the same thing. ED has found this, that he apparently has a PhD. First of all, I did not know that. But that PhD was gotten by fishy means. I'll read out the entire report from some good sources. But first I want to harp upon, why is this happening? Why does Mamata Banerjee feel the need to declare herself a PhD? And why does Partha Chatterjee feel the need to call himself a fucking PhD? That's because we have this Brahminical vision of PhDs in society even today. Even though all these PhDs and Marxist academics hate Brahminism, they have not really gotten over the concept in their hearts and in their minds. So Partha Chatterjee, being an education minister, must have thought that I really need a PhD, otherwise people are going to think I'm stupid. And Mamata Banerjee, since she was working in a scenario where so many CPM politicians were academics themselves, all the society, the intelligentsia of Bengal, all of them have a PhD, like it's available on the road. And we all know on the Indic wing that a lot of PhD fundings are kind of easy to get if you just talk shit about Hinduism, if you just have the words caste, gender and Kashmir in your thesis paper and those kind of things. Allegations always happen. But that must have really gotten Partha Chatterjee and Mamata Banerjee to come up with the idea of, let's have a PhD for no fucking reason. Also remember that they are actually Brahmins. They have not received any big Dalit leader. Their big Dalit leaders are in the Dalit areas in the forests and stuff. But BJP is the only one who has come up with actual big Dalit leaders. And remember, when Marxists and social justice warriors and woke people talk about women's representation of historically disadvantaged minorities, what they mean is tokenism. They would rather have just some person randomly from any community just go into a position of power, as if Mamata Banerjee, being a woman and becoming a chief minister, has somehow helped the women of Bengal. But we all know tokenism doesn't happen. But now they are even screwed big time on this, because BJP is countering them on tokenism as well. Now we have an OBC prime minister and a tribal president. You want tokenism? You have it, tokenism. Suck on that tokenism and go to sleep. Because I don't believe just because we have an OBC prime minister and a tribal president, magically things are going to get better for OBCs and tribals. That's going to take a free market. That's going to take free market economics. But if you do want tokenism, here's tokenism for you. Now what are you going to say? That's what I absolutely love, the decision of taking Draupadi Murmuji as president. But I do believe there will be some gigantic contribution of her becoming the president, because tribals are going to have something to look up to. They are going to come out of this myth that just embrace Jesus and all your problems will go away. That myth is going to be busted big time. But their economic upliftment is not going to happen because Draupadi ji is the president. That is tokenism, but that's the tokenism exactly called for by Marxists, and we have given them the answer. Now let me give you the exact reports of Mamata Banerjee's fake PhD. This is a report from Op India. In 1985, the then Congress MP from Jadavpur, Mamata Banerjee, stood exposed when the United States Educational Foundation in India proclaimed that there did not exist an institution named the University of East Georgia, from where she had claimed to have allegedly completed her doctorate. As per the Telegraph report, it was later revealed that Datta too had completed his PhD. Okay, that's not important. And here's Partha Chatterjee's idea of a PhD. So the issue is, Partha Chatterjee got his PhD 8 years ago. Apparently, when he was in the thick of things, he was one of the biggest politicians in the state, when he was a minister, and even before that, he has been a full-time politician for many years, and somehow, apparently, he's so disciplined in his life that he found time to do a fucking PhD. So, Partha Chatterjee, this is from znewsindia.com. Partha Chatterjee got his PhD 8 years ago after he was taken into custody by the ED in the SSC scam. Allegations have been made that the professors, head of departments, and the highest authorities of North Bengal University have broken the rules in various areas to give PhD degrees to the then education minister. In fact, the then registrar asked 7 questions to the head of department about the alleged breach of rules. So here are some key points. It was asked, where 75% attendance in the class is mandatory for 6 months of coursework, how did Partha give the exam in 2 days? At the same time, under the Right to Information Act, various people want to know from the university where Partha took the coursework, whether Partha took the coursework test or not, and how many classes were there for the coursework, how many classes did Partha take. In 2012, Partha took the coursework exam. He had to wait 2 more years to get his PhD in 2012. Sanchari in PhD, but on April 23rd, 2012, Sanchari Roy Mukhopadhyay, the then head of Department of Economics of the University of North Bengal, said in writing, there were a total of 48 classroom lectures, 2 hours in each of the coursework, and Partha came for 2 days. In that case, the question remains, then what fucking English has they written? So I'm having to correct the English and read it out. In that case, the question remains, then how did Partha fulfill the criteria of his attendance of 75%? Departmental head argued that 16 hours a week should be allotted for coursework in economics, out of it 4 hours of class lecture and 12 hours of library work. It will last 13 weeks in total, altogether 208 hours. 75%, that is 156 hours, must be attended. The question arises, how did Partha give time without coming to class? 75% of the coursework must be attended in class. That is the rule. Otherwise, everyone will do the coursework at home. So, Partha Chatterjee is so advanced that he was doing work from home and study from home before Corona hit.